Hey guys, it's Destiny. I'm part of Team Balcony, obviously, and I'm the person who handles basically all of the stream stuff for our team. And today I'm just gonna be making a really quick little setup guide for using the Blackmagic Intensity Shuttle. So first thing I'm gonna be going over is what you need to make this whole stream thing happen in terms of capturing gameplay. First off, obviously, this tutorial is specifically about the Blackmagic Design Intensity Shuttle for USB 3.0. There's technically two. There's this one, which is something you plug in just by USB, and there's also one called the Blackmagic Design Intensity Shuttle Thunderbolt, which is different. I think is something you put into your computer, but I don't know because I don't have it. But yeah, I'm talking about the one that is just, you plug it in here and then you plug it into your computer and you're good to go. And so, rather than saying Blackmagic Design Intensity Shuttle for USB 3.0 every single time you mention it, most people just shorten it down to BMI. So I'm just going to call it that for this little video. Other supplies you are going to need is this little blue cord. It should come with the capture card when you buy it, assuming you get it new, or they claim that they'll give it to you. You will see that on one end, it's got this little USB port. It is blue. And then on the other end, you have what is called a USB Type B, which is just the little, how the output metal part, the shape of it. So, yeah. And that little Type B part is going to go into your capture card. And then this blue part is going to eventually go into your computer. Don't bother plugging it into your computer just yet. Leave that on your desk or whatever. The important thing to know about USB Blue is it's actually called USB 3.0, and all you gotta make sure you do with these kind of ports, it's really obvious, they literally make everything blue so you don't forget, is that it needs to go into a USB port that is also blue, also known as USB type, or a USB 3.0 port. Most computers these days have them. They're just a bit more power intensive, and they're just the updated version of USB that are made for more powerful things. So yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you plug that eventually into there. So make sure your computer has USB type or USB 3.0. So there's gonna be two different types of cords you can theoretically use to go from your Wii to the little capture card. On the one hand, you have what'll get you NTSC quality, which we'll go into later when we're setting up the BMI. But that will be done by these buddies. You've got your normal AVI cords, which are the ones that you usually see when you're plugging in the Wii. Yellow handles your video input, and then red is your right audio, white is your left. And then you also have this little guy. He is the S-Video prong, and he's a bitch to plug in, but yeah, it's pretty easy once you do it. This is going to be getting you not the best quality. This is pretty standard quality. I think this might only get you 30 FPS. I don't know. I don't really use it anymore because why would I? And if you don't already, don't bother getting this. If you're looking to buy a cord, just go get the component one, which I'm going to talk about. I would only use S-Video if it's for whatever reason my component went out and it's oh, I got to use my backup stuff. But what you're going to want to get if you're looking to buy cords and get the best quality is this guy. This is component. So again, you have your normal little guy. This is what you plug into your Wii. It's the normal standard prong for that. And then you've got these, this weird little snake of stuff. It's actually basically the same as AVI. You have audio and video, or no, audio and audio. Red is the right audio, left is the white. And then instead of just one or two, you have three that handle the video input. These are just the different colors. You can kind of mess around with it, actually. When you're setting this up into the Wii, you'll find that if you take out, just the green or just the blue or just the red, you'll still get video, but you'll just get, weird colors of it. So each of them just handles the color spectrum. It's supposed to be a higher quality. I use component cords to get NTSC Progressive, which is what we're going to look at in a hot second. And so really quickly before I go into setting everything up, I'm just going to give the tiniest, roughest explanation of how you are making all this happen, or how I should say the Blackmagic is making all this happen. So first off, you're going to have your Wii. And you're going to have that plug into your capture card. And then you have this little blue wire. This little blue wire is obviously going to your computer. And then you have an AVI, or not AVI, but you have an output area, which has AVI. And that AVI is going to go to your CRT. And so what is happening is that the Wii is doing its normal thing and throwing it into the capture card. The capture card first basically takes it to the computer and checks for whatever settings you want to have and, you know, the quality and all that. And then once you have the quality all set up in the computer, it then goes to your TV. So what we're going to look at later is that you need to make sure you have the right settings for both your Wii and your computer before it'll go to your TV. Otherwise, nothing will show up on your TV, and that's a bummer. But yeah, so let's look into how to actually set up all of that stuff. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the Blackmagic Design Intensity website. It's actually probably one of the worst websites I've ever used, I'll say right off the bat. It's like really poorly laid out, but I'll have a link in the description to where you can find the drivers. Again, you don't want anything plugged in yet. You're just purely working on a software level. You're going to go onto the website, or just go to the link I sent you, or I have in the description, and you're going to download that, install that, reset your computer, and then we'll be back after you do that in a sec. You can pause this video and come on back. The second thing you're going to want to do is now plug in your capture card. Again, we are working with, here we go, blue USB. So it's got this blue little port. Wow. You're going to want to plug that into a blue USB port in your computer. That is key. Do not plug this into your normal USB port. It will not work. So yeah, once you have your capture card in, I'm actually going to go plug it in. So we're going to start off by working with the Wii and getting that all set up to go to the Blackmagic. I'm going to show off first, doing it with S-Video, I guess. Again, no real reason to do S-Video. If you're like going to buy a cord, like you don't already have either of these, just go get the component one. It's better quality. But if you just have an S-Video one lying around and you don't feel like buying the component cord yet or whatever, I guess you can start off with this video. You're going to want to take your capture card. And there's the first one, which sucks. I hate plugging in this thing, but it's S-Video. It kind of lines up weirdly. There's like a little rectangle hole you're going to want to match up with. And you're going to kind of like just rotate it around until it goes in. And it should go in pretty snug. And then these other three ones are your pretty standard AVI cords. You're gonna, it's like color coded. You're gonna want to plug in the yellow to the yellow, which is the video in. You want to make sure you're working on the video in settings. They all say in. Please. They all say in. So yeah, make sure you're not doing it into the output side. That would not make any sense for this little capture card. But you want to help it understand what's going on. And so once you've done that, you've plugged that in, we're going to actually head on over to some software that should have been installed when you downloaded the drivers to the BMI. First and foremost is this little buddy. This is the Blackmagic Desktop Video Setup. And what this is how you can just set up the settings purely for the capture card. This is like what the little hardware is handling inside. So we're going to start off by clicking that little circle thing, and you're going to see here that you have video input, there's HDMI, component, composite, and S-Video. So yeah, composite is the AVI one. That one's no good. We have S-Video, which is the one we're working with right now. You're going to want to set that to NTSC. And then the rest of this is, yeah, you don't usually mess with any of that. Audio should be fine too. Usually the only thing you're editing is this, the video input, which is purely what you're plugging into the capture card, and then the video output, which is like what you want from your output to look like to the OBS. It's going to ask you, do you want to allow these changes? You'll be like, yeah. And then real quickly, we're going to go back on over to the capture card and take your double AVI wires. Again, they automatically convert from composite or S-Video or whatever into normal whatever you'd be plugging into your Wii. So you don't really have to worry about anything on this side. This is like the easy part. You just plug your AVI into one side here in the output. wow, you should make sure it's in the right spot. Again, they're color coordinated, so it's pretty basic. And then you're going to want to plug your other side very normally into your Wii, which is also going to, or your TV, I should say. Your CRT should have the normal yellow, red, blue, or yellow, red, white. Wow, I'm messing that up. But yeah, yellow, red, white, plug that in normally. It's all good to go. You shouldn't really be seeing anything yet, because we haven't set up anything, so don't worry about that. We're also going to now head on over to the Media Express. You're going to want to open that up. It has like this weird time stopwatch, but with like holes in it. I don't know. It's a weird icon. But yeah, you're looking for this little fucker. And then it's going to open up, and you're going to be automatically on playback, and you're not going to see anything, and you're going to be kind of stressed. That's okay. You're going to actually want to head over to log and capture, which is weird. I don't know why it starts on playback instead of log and capture. But for now, you should be seeing audio right here. And you should also be obviously seeing your capture. And so this should also be popping up on your TV. The really cool thing about Media Express is that if you, for whatever reason, can't get the settings to work in the desktop video setup thing, you can always come here, have both open, and this login capture tab will 99% of the time just automatically set up the settings. And so if you're, for whatever reason, not able to get it to work, you just go here, set up this login capture tab, and then go on over to the desktop one, and it should automatically set these settings to whatever the capture card is doing. So I use this a lot to set up my component side of things. We'll talk about it later, but you have to set up a certain setting in the Wii, and to make that happen, you have to use Media Express first. And so this is actually really useful software. I definitely recommend keeping it or having it in a little folder for your stream software. And now I'm going to quickly show you how you would do that for the component side of things. I'm going to unplug all this S-Video garbage. And again, S-Video is not going to get you the best settings. If you're looking to do like what the balcony has, you're going to want to get a component cord. And I can't imagine they're very expensive. We just have so many cords here at the balcony that I just found this and used it. But they should be pretty cheap. And so it's going to be kind of a little confusing in the tiniest way because there's two red ones. It's like, what's going on? And all you're going to do is start off with these two for the audio. You can tell that this red one is meant to go with this white one because they both have the core same little body color. So you're going to plug that into where you would put in your AVI audio setting or audio inputs. So yeah, you got your colors, you got your prongs, go in and in. And then you're good to go on the audio for that. And then on the other side for video, instead of just yellow, you have green, red, and blue, which you can see here. That's pretty cool. And so you're going to plug in the red one into the red part in the input side. We're still only on the input side, so it should be going up here. S-Video and the yellow one are in between. And then you have the blue one, you plug in there. And then you've got your little green one you're going to plug in there. And so your capture card should look like this. You've got your, this is like coming from the Wii into the capture card. This is going from the computer, or from the capture card to the computer. This is going from the capture card to the TV, which is over here to my left. And so that should be all good on the capture card side of things. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you put, like, you set down the capture card in a spot where people aren't going to kick it, people aren't going to knock it over. The cord it came with, for me at least, is pretty long, so I can kind of just put it wherever. But yeah, you're going to want to make sure that nobody hits that, because these things are delicate. And the last thing you want is for anything inside the capture card to get busted. Alright, one more time. We're going to do the setting up the settings for the capture card, this time for component, which is, again, the version or quality I suggest people using. We go over here, desktop video setup, we got our little icon, this is what it looks like. You're going to, again, hit this little button, and you're going to want to click component. This is the video input, so this is basically the wires that you're using. You're going to go down here, and instead of NTSC, which was the setting we used for S-Video, you're going to actually set it to NTSC progressive. So you're going to hit save, it's going to ask you to do the do, you're going to be like, yeah. And then that should be good to go. You're then going to go over here, or where's my, yeah, here, this little weird thing. Go open that up, go to log and capture, and it should pop up. And again, you should not only be seeing this on your log and capture section, but you'll also be able to go and look at your TV and see that the stuff is coming up. If you are having an issue and it isn't coming up here, you're going to want to make sure that you have the wires properly checked, that you're using the right USB port, all that sort of good stuff. And worst comes to worst, just resetting your computer or restarting your computer and just starting fresh. Sometimes when you install a new thing and you don't restart your computer, it doesn't get implemented properly. So those would probably be the first go-to things I'd check out in terms of making sure that it works at the beginning. While we're here in the Media Center, or Media Express for the BMI, we're also going to take a sec to set up the Wii and make sure it's set to the right output. If you're doing NTSC, which was the S-Video chords, you don't really have to worry about this step. Your Wii will automatically be set to standard 480i, which is interlace. Basically, you can only use the HD TV setting 480p when you have component cords or HDMI. So this is like not even an option you can select unless you have the proper cords hooked up to the Wii. And so if you are using component, it should be available for you. You just click that, hit confirm, and you'll be good to go. You're going to want to make sure that you do set this up through the Media Express, because Media Express, again, automatically selects the correct output. You don't actually have to set up any of the capture card's actual settings, which is something we would usually be using the Media Desktop Setup, Video Setup program. But the Media Express just does that automatically. So you can do that through here. Normally, if you were just doing this through OBS, you're not yet in the right settings to set it up, so it actually would be a lot harder. So yeah, your general flow will be to set this up through Media Express. So once we've set up going from the Wii to the capture card to the computer, we're now going to get this capture card into OBS and then have it show up on the TV screen. And so we're going to be here in OBS. I'll show it in XSplit in a sec too, but we'll start here. This is what I use for streaming the Bauk stuff. You're going to go down to this little plus. I'm going to click that. Go on up to Blackmagic Device. I'll click that. Gonna just name it whatever you want. I just name it Blackmagic Device. It doesn't really matter. Gonna go down to Device, Intensity Shuttle. Nothing shows up. Gonna go to Mode, NTSC Progressive. Ooh. So you want to make sure that whatever settings you have set in the this little guy, whatever you set here, which I had set to Component and then NTSC Progressive, you need to match it for the source. Because basically what's happening is OBS is reading the capture card. Your capture card is already set to something. And so from here, you can just drag this guy to make it huge. And then we're gonna... This is me holding down the Alt button and dragging. That is how I crop the settings out. Because that black bar isn't actually anything. It's just extra space. And so this is your gameplay. So when it comes back to setting up the audio settings here, this is my audio, as you can see. I know this because if I click this, codec is the one for my headset. My amp, to be specific. Down here is the game audio. It's under Blackmagic Device. If I scoot this up, scoot this back, that's the level of the audio. To make sure that you get that. If that doesn't automatically pop up, that's kind of weird. Usually if you add a source, it just comes up. But otherwise, you can go to Settings, and you can go to Audio. Oh, wait, I should probably put this away for a hot second. Boop. You're going to want to go to Settings, Audio, and then this is where I've added in the codec. I don't even have to add in the magic one, but you could, in theory, add that in. Obviously, this isn't necessarily as crispy as, say, the Dolphin, but when it comes to getting it off of a console, this is pretty good in terms of keeping it to a CRT. You can technically do, like, an HDMI converter, all that sort of stuff, but for the sake of the Bauk, I just keep it on with component. And this does me well. This automatically goes to 60 frames per second due to the NTSC progressive, all that stuff. So it should be good to go. You're definitely going to want to make sure that in OBS you have it, as you can see down here, set to 60 FPS. Alright, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you need any more help, I guess feel free to message me. I'm by no means an expert. I've only been learning this for like the last year. So I just figured there's no guide right now to really help out people that's like a video and really easy. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out, like a long time. And so if I can help anyone, I'm willing to. If you have any suggestions for further content you're hoping to see in terms of like little tutorials, I also handle all the Photoshop stuff for the Balk. I handle all the stream stuff. Obviously, I've done both OBS and XSplit. So yeah, feel free to leave recommendations, and I'll probably make another video eventually.